All right, welcome everybody to the second edition of the NFL Draft Geek Film Room. I'm Brian Johannes, and last week I brought you a look at Lamar Jackson. Today I'm looking at one of the hottest running backs in the nation, and that is San Diego State's Rashaad Penny. Uh, Here's a guy that took over for Donnell Pumphrey, who led the nation and broke Ron Dayne's rushing record. And Penny's kind of picked up right where Pumphrey left off. He's second in the nation at this point, 4 games in, with 716 total yards, 7 touchdowns. He's averaging 7.9 yards per game. He's already got 91 attempts so far. He only had 198 his previous 3 years combined. So he's getting his chance to shine, and he's really taking advantage of that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to mix it up a little bit from what I did with Lamar Jackson. So instead of just going through several different highlights one by one, I'm going to look at the Penny's positives and negatives and kind of highlight those for you. The first one that I want you to see is one of the things I like about him is he makes such sudden, quick cuts when he's running. He doesn't have to slow down. I mean, these aren't drastic jump cuts to get to opens, but he's able to make these subtle cuts that allows it at full speed. And so we're going to look at this first one right here. As you see, he's coming up. It's going to be a run to your right, and he just makes that sudden cut right there to get into the hole and to find that opening. If I show you another example, he's doing the same type of thing. You see it here for a long run. To his right once again, or to his left, I'm sorry. Runs, just makes that two sudden quick cuts to get up in the hole and get downfield. All right, another thing that I like about Penny is his ability to accelerate and make a quick cut. As we see in this run, it's out of the shotgun. Penny normally does most of his runs in two-back sets behind a fullback. But if you look here, he's going to get this handoff on a draw play, and he's really going to accelerate up, get to top speed quick, and then able to make a defender miss with a nice lateral cut. So as we see here, it really accelerates, and then he sees that linebacker coming over. If we look at it in slow-mo, he sees that linebacker coming over, and he's able to stop with the linebacker's momentum going, make a lateral cut to his left to avoid that tackle, and get an additional 5 yards out of the play. If I look at another example of this, speed it back up. Here's another example, once again, of his acceleration and getting to top speed. He gets that ball, breaks in, and then just accelerates through. Had that seam wide open and able to exploit it for a long, 40-plus yard gain there. Penny's more than just a runner. He can actually be a factor in the run game. He didn't run a ton of routes. He did get split out some in as a trip set. He was in that. He got some catches out of the backfield, and he really showed nice hands and the ability to adjust. He caught some balls behind him where he had to kind of spin back to get the ball and never slowed down. Here we see a draw play or a screen play, and the ball's off, and he's able to go up and high point it and still keep going. You see, able to jump up. He did kind of stumble a little bit, but the fact that he's able to go up and high point a ball and catch it outside your frame, you don't have a whole lot of running backs that could do that. All right, a couple of negative things that I have is Penny's just he runs a little too upright. When you see him running, he doesn't run with a great pad level. I think that kind of hurts him with his power. And I want to kind of illustrate that here. He gets kind of tackled too easily, in my opinion. As we see here, I mean, he didn't have a whole lot of room to run, but he's able to go there, and he just gets tackle right at his legs. And I know that he kind of ran into his blocker, but once again, and I'll show you another example of that right here, is he just, too often he gets tackled easily. He goes through, and he should have bounced off that hit. You would have hoped. I know that the defender wrapped up, but once again, throughout this game against Stanford, he had a great game, but he didn't break a lot of tackles. He eluded a defender I showed you earlier, but other than that, he really doesn't run through a lot of tackles. He doesn't finish going forward a lot. So that's just kind of the one area that I had maybe a little bit of knock against him. As we speak right now, he's my 15th rated running back in this draft class. He's a guy that I like. I see him as a backup spot starter, so I think he a big role in this, in an NFL team. With his speed, with his ability, I think he'd be great in a zone blocking scheme. However, I think he can play in a gap man scheme where he has to maneuver and stop and start. So I like him, but there's a couple flaws, like I illustrated, that I think he needs to improve on. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Once again, I plan to do this at least once a week, so make sure you're following we on NFLDraftGeek.com. I'll post this on my Twitter at draft_Brian and at NFL Draft Geek. And then go to the YouTube page, subscribe. That's the best way to get these. Is they'll come to you in your email. They'll pop up on you when you go to YouTube. So make sure that you are following. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed.